How's it going, YouTube? Red Impact here, and we're only a few hours away from the heavyweight bout between Joe Goodall and Justis Huni. This is happening this evening, 15th of June at 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time over in Brisbane, Queensland. First, Joseph Goodall. Joseph has had 8 wins, 7 by knockout, no losses, and he's had 1 draw. Decent sized bloke. He's 6 foot 5.5, 29 years of age. Big Joe has had a pretty good amateur career. He won silver at the Commonwealth Games in 2014, Australia's first World Championship medalist in 26 years, and he won bronze again in 2017. Missed out on Olympic selection. He says that he was sick in the qualifier, so didn't quite make it through on that occasion. He's taking on Justis Huni. Justis has had 5 fights. He's won 4 of those by knockout, no losses, no draws. Justis is slightly shorter, 6'4", and he's the younger of the two at 23 years of age. Now, they've been trying to hype this fight up in Australia. They've been saying it's the biggest fight in 100 years or something to that effect. I'm not so sure about that. They're also charging about $60 for a pay-per-view. I don't think I'll be paying that for this fight, but I am looking forward to the highlight. But this is an interesting fight. These are two hungry fighters. They're both trying to make a name for themselves. Justis Huni was put on the map when he fought a rugby league player in Australia, Paul Gallen. Justis Huni beat him quite well, apparently broke his ribs during the fight. Justis Huni also sustained a hand injury during that fight. As a result, this fight had to be delayed. Prior to that, Justis also had to pull out of the Olympic Games. So according to Justis, he's fully recovered, ready to go. Justis is a very good boxer, very fast, very quick hands, throws a lot of body punches. He also puts together some really nice combinations. Joe Goodall's going to be the more aggressive fighter. Joe Goodall's trained over in America by Kevin Barry. Kevin Barry, well known for training Joe Parker. These guys are going to be laying it all on the line. It is a styles make fight situation where Big Joe is going to bring the fight. Justis is going to be bringing the speed. Kevin has been working with Joe on his boxing skill more, improving the jab. Justis, still very young, only 23. He's been developing and getting better all the time. Justis hasn't looked that confident in some of the interviews. In fact, it looked as though Joe Goodall was starting to break him down a little bit psychologically. However, if you go back to the fight with Paul Gallen, you might have said the same thing. Paul Gallen, the older bloke, a lot of years in professional sport, looked as though he had the better psychologically of Justis Huni, but as Justis says, he lets his fists do the talking. He's certainly not a pushover, and he's a very, very confident fighter. The story with Joe Goodall is I think he had some motivational issues there. Not a dollar to his name. He's headed over to the States and been trained under Kevin Barry. He's saying he's in a good headspace, really confident in the gains he's made since training and spending some time over in the US. This is going to be a great fight. It will surprise people. And the reason for that is both fighters will be hungry. Both fighters are going to put it all on the line. These fighters also know each other fairly well. They've spent a lot of time sparring over the years. The reason they're hungry is the winner's going to move into the top 15 in the IBF, WBO and WBC rankings, meaning that they could get a crack at a world title in the future. It's a really important stepping stone for them. They both want to clear out their backyard in Australia. That'll prove to themselves and everyone around them there's no one here left to fight. It's time to seek out bigger targets and more money. So what are the predictions for this fight? It's actually a hard one to call. If you'd asked me a little while ago, I might have said Justis Huni. He's the well-known fighter. He's got impeccable boxing skills, very fast, up-and-comer, and he's hungry. But doing a bit of study on Joe Goodall, he's a tough character. He's won all of his fights by knockout. Most of those have been knockout in the first round. So Joseph Goodall brings a lot of power, but also he's been working on his skill set with Kevin Barry. Kevin teaches that aggressive style, but he's also been working on improving the boxing skills with Joe Goodall, and Kevin Barry had that success with Joe Parker. Given that extra bit of success of Joe Goodall, he's training with such a prolific coach, I think Joe Goodall's going to come home with this one. Given Joe Goodall's got a few more fights under his belt, he's got a bit more age and experience, I think Joe Goodall is just going to have it over Justis Huni. Doesn't mean Justis Huni won't bring a pretty hard fight. Justis Huni will be coming in. He's going to be working pretty hard to make his name. He's been wanting it for some time. He's young, he's eager. I think it won't be easy for either fighter. A knockout is highly possible, but it's also possible it's going to go the distance because they're both tough, strong, fit characters. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just leaning slightly towards Joe Goodall. Sorry, Justice, big fan, mate. I'm a Queenslander myself, but I just think experience is going to pay off. That little bit more experience and age from Joe. Um, if you go down, mate, I'm sure you'll have a bright future, and we'll see you back again. Prove me wrong, though. See you in a few hours, guys, and may the best man win. Thanks, YouTube. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and that'll encourage me to do another video. Cheers.